Hi, welcome to Yoga Love Freedom, Sankalpa Yoga Tasmania, Restorative Yoga home practice. So if you haven't already seen the first video, maybe go back and have a look at that. It gives you instructions on how to make your props that you'll need out of things that you have in your home already, pillows and scarves and pots and socks. So just maybe you want to check that out before we start and get your props ready. For today's practice, you will need your eye pillow, you will need 2 blankets, 2 cushions, your blocks or pots, and your bolster. Restorative yoga is that special sort of magic that allows the body to come back to balance. It allows, if we're lucky, for the parasympathetic nervous system or part of the nervous system to come to the fore. So that's your rest, digest, restore part of the nervous system as opposed to the fight and flight side. And you know, there's an awful lot of us that are walking around in fight and flight. We don't even realize it. It's just part of the world we live in at the moment. So we'll start by coming into supported shavasana. Just go ahead and roll out your mat. And if you don't have a mat, don't worry. Just use a blanket or a towel. It really doesn't matter. If you have put your mat down, go ahead and put a blanket over the top. Just gives us something comfortable to practice on, something warm and supportive. So our first shape is always supported shavasana. So you'll need your bolster about 3/4 of a way up your mat. You need your eye pillow close up the other end and a blanket. So supported shavasana, we bring our legs over our bolster, and we do this so that when we lay down, all that pressure is taken off the lower back and the back of the hips. And go ahead and pop your blanket on. Look, and if you're warm and you don't feel like you want a blanket on, have it really close by. The body does cool down as you relax. So, roughly 20 minutes into the practice, you might feel like, it needs to be on you. So have it somewhere that you can access it easily. Oh, and this practice will only be about 40 minutes long. It's all my recorder will allow me, so a bit shorter than our regular time of 1 hour and 15. So we better get going. So supported shavasana. Knees over bolster, laying down, take your eye pillow, pop that on, arms out to the sides, palms facing up, and have a little space between your arms and your torso. Don't bring your arms right in close, let them be out, let the feet fall out to either side, nice and relaxed. And just feeling the body in this shape. So while you're in supported shavasana, just firstly connecting with your breath, just feeling the inhalation coming in through the nostrils, feeling it brush the soft palate. You may be aware of the breath in the windpipe. Feeling the expansion of rib cage and lungs, the lift of diaphragm and belly, all this with your inhalation. And feeling the exhalation, feeling how the chest and the belly, the whole front body sinks into the back body. Feeling the eyes resting in the sockets. You might notice with your exhalations that the back body feels like it's spreading a little more on the surface below, softening. And check in with the body. How is the body feeling? And we want to do this without any judgment at all. The body is feeling how the body is feeling. We don't want to be engaging our analytical mind or our judgment. We just want to feel, observe what's happening. perfectly natural for the body to have pockets of tension or unease, just as it's perfectly natural for the body to feel spaciousness and ease. So no judging here, we're just feeling what the body is feeling. And this, of course, will change. It will be completely different by the end of the practice. How is your mind? How's the mind? Is it busy, giving you lots of thoughts? Maybe they're the same thoughts you were having an hour ago or a day ago. And again, no judgment, just observing what the mind is doing. And coming back to the sensation of breath. Making a resolve for this very short period of time to disengage from all the cares and concerns that you've been carrying. Let them rest too. Put them down just for this little bit of time. Embrace this time. It's a time that you have to do a little bit of self-exploration, let the mind float, allow the body to do what the body does best, self-regulate and heal. When we come into this space of relaxation and we allow for that parasympathetic nervous system dominance, we can come into that space of homeostasis, balance. As we might not be moving, but there's a whole lot going on. Your body understands what's going on. Incredibly intelligent organism. All we have to do is get out of the way, let it do its thing. So when we move, when we transition from one shape to the next, we're going to do that very mindfully. The body can become quite vulnerable when held in shapes for lengths of time, and we'll be down in each shape for between 10 to 15 minutes. So we're just going to now roll over onto the right side, gently pushing both palms into the floor and bringing ourselves up into a nice easy seat so we can come into our next shape. And do so carefully, gently with the self. So our next shape is legs up the bolster, which is a gentler version of legs up the wall. And for this shape you'll need your bolster, 2 blocks or your 2 pots, your eye pillow, your strap or your scarf, and a blanket. If you would prefer to take legs up the wall and you're familiar with that shape, go ahead and take legs up the wall. For right now otherwise we're doing legs up the bolster. So legs up the bolster, we're going to need one of our blocks to be standing widthways and the other one to be standing tall. We then place our bolster over the blocks on an incline. Just check and see that that end block is secure so that it doesn't fall and tip. And we're then going to strap our legs at the calves. So you want to make sure you've got a fist width between the calves so that you're not strapped tight together. And the reason for this is that the leg can slip out easily if need be. Importantly, the brain is getting the signal that the leg can slip out if it needs to. So we're not bound, we're not trapped that will only cause the sensation or the reaction in the nervous system of coming into fight or flight. So we want all systems to understand that we're not trapped here. We can slip that leg out if we want to. It's up to us. We have complete control over that. I'm going to take the hip to the side of the bolster and then just swing around, shimmy up. Legs go up the bolster. You lay down. Eye pillow on. Whoops. Arms out to the side, just as they were in Shavasana. Once again, connecting with your breath, waiting for the breath to become steady, fluid. Those physical benefits of legs up the wall are just magical. So we've taken all weight off the joints, off the ankles and the knees and the hips. So those joints can get a little space, of healthy fluids can move a little easier through them. We're also allowing for any stagnant fluid that may be caught in the lower limbs to drain back down. And that can be blood, or it can be lymphatic fluid. So unlike our hearts that pump our circulatory system, pump our blood all around, the lymphatic fluid has no muscle to do that for it. It relies on movement, massage, being in an anti-gravity type of thing, just like we're doing with our legs. And it's really important that we do help the lymph to flow. The lymphatic fluid is the substance in the body that clears out toxins. It moves between the cells. It carries out dead cells. So any sort of toxicity is dealt with through the lymphatic system. So it's draining all the way down from the feet, through the legs, into the abdomen, and eventually makes its way up to behind the collarbones, to the circulatory system behind the collarbones, where it's drained down into the nodes, lymph nodes, and then fed out through elimination. So we can bring a real freshness. People have asked me, why do I feel energized? Why do I feel, relaxed, but in good energy after restorative? It's because we're cultivating all this flow and moving all these energies without actually having to do much work. So just by draining the legs of this lymphatic and this stagnant fluid, or the blood that may be caught down by the ankles or in the feet, we get real freshness into the body. Let us breathe. Maybe you could begin to extend your exhalation just a few seconds longer than your inhalation. The relaxation response can be triggered by a lengthened exhalation. It doesn't have to be, twice as long as your inhale. It can just be a few seconds longer at this point. And with your exhalation, just get a sense of the upper torso just sinking and softening. Feel the connection to the surface below you, and below that, the connection to Earth. This beautiful, supportive, nurturing planet that we're so privileged to call home. Feel yourself at ease. Drawing your knees in to the chest, just bringing them down off the bolster, coming onto the right side once again. Pushing the hands into the floor and bringing yourself up. Nice, easy seated position. So your props are going to stay exactly where they were. I'll move mine, set them back up again. Exactly where they were. So we're going to come into supported Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe without strapping the legs, I think. So you'll need your props where they are. You'll need another blanket, eye pillow and your 2 cushions. So for this shape, we're going to bring the small of the back to the end of the bolster. Bring the feet together, knees open, and just pop your cushion underneath the knees just to offer some support. Your blanket. From here, just carefully maybe hold the base of the bolster and then just lay yourself back down over the bolster, eye pillow on, blanket up, arms to the side, palms facing up. Gorgeous place to be. So just finding the breath once again. Keeping your breath steady, steadying the breath, perhaps lengthening your inhalation if you enjoyed that. Lengthening the inhalation, exhalation again. Just feel your shoulders dropping back and the chest opening. It's a very open pose. The hips are open, the torso is lengthened, chest is open. Feel the breath streaming into the body in this shape. Feel the chest lifted. Allow yourself to surrender to the bolster. Allow yourself to really just give into the bolster. Just allow yourself to drape on it. Accept that support. And we're all supported. We really are. May not feel like it sometimes, but we are. Get a sense of your rib cage just melting away from the heart. That the heart space can be really open. And if your heart space doesn't feel open, that's perfectly normal too. You can't always be feeling open. If you feel like the heart is closed, that's fine. Maybe it needs to be closed right now. It won't be closed forever. Just get a sensation, or get a sense of what the feeling is at this center. It might feel Might feel light, it might feel open, it might feel hard or closed, whatever it is, just be with the feeling. We're not trying to analyze it at all, we're just experiencing what's happening. If it's too difficult to stay in that space, if it's challenging, just take your awareness to the edge of what's happening. And the heart space is where consciousness abides, connection. You might get a sense of that space opening all the way up. As you inhale, just get a sense of joy coming into the body. Let the mind float. Let your awareness expand into the body and all that it's feeling. The open body allows for energy to flow. It helps to transmute stagnant energy. It helps blockages to move. And this sense of openness allows for good to come to us. If you've had your knees wide, just draw them together now and lengthen the legs out in front of the body. Maybe bounce the knees a little bit or turn the feet from side to side. And we're just going to come up off our bolster, removing the eye pillow, gently coming up to find a nice, easy seat once again. Leaving our props exactly where they are, we're going to come into supported child, supported balasana. And for this, you'll just need your props where they are. You won't need an eye pillow. You will need a blanket. So taking the knees wide, we're going to come up to the bolster as far as we can without actually sitting on the bolster. Bringing our blanket up behind us like a superhero cape, because we are superheroes. We're going to take an inhalation, and when you inhale, lift the sternum and the chest high. And as you exhale, lengthening the torso down onto the bolster and turn the face to the side and blanket up. And if you really want to become quite internalized, just bring that blanket all the way up, make a little cave for yourself, a little restorative yoga cave. And again, settling into the breath. You might notice Now that the breath is being drawn to the back of the lungs, so it's the back and the sides of the ribs that are expanding and contracting now. This shape is so beautiful for just drawing in, just finding that still point within, so that when everything's crazy around you, you can access that still point. Whenever things get a bit crazy, child's pose is the place to go. Really helps calm everything down. Physically, our tailbone and the sacrum, a bony piece just below where the discs start stacking, between the tailbone and the lower discs. They've found a bit of space in this shape. They're able to draw down toward the floor, lengthen down. And the lower vertebrae also get a lot of space in this shape. Really beautifully takes the pressure off the lower back that might have accumulated there through sitting, being standing for too long. The sacroiliac joint, that band of soft tissue that attaches the top of the femur bones, the thigh bones, to that sacrum, get toned, a bit of toning happening. Helps to tone the psoas group of muscles that support the pelvic bowl, the hips. The knees are opened, knee joints. When we breathe into the back consciously, it's a very grounding thing to do. Most of us, even those of us that have a breathwork practice, breathe into the front of the body. We take an inhalation, and it's the front of the body that lifts and rises and expands. This is a forward motion. When we breathe into the back, it holds us in the present moment. It calms us down. It's very grounding. It's very strengthening. Gives a sense of strengthening. So just go ahead and feel the breath moving into the back and sides of the lungs, making full use of the lung capacity too. Nice gentle place to be. Get a beautiful heart drop forward and resting. This wonderful heart has been beating with you since the day you were born. It's your first rhythm. The heart is the first rhythm, and the breath is the second. And we get pulled away from our own rhythms. All the commitments that we have, obligations, life, pulls us away from our own natural rhythm. Just take a moment to feel your heart beating, that first rhythm. Feel your breath, inhalation, exhalation, the second rhythm. And once we're out of the womb, one can't exist without the other. This is your natural rhythm. Come back to that. Come back to the breath. Come back to the heartbeat. That's all there is at this moment. Your wonderful miracle of a body healing resting, rejuvenating. We're going to need to come out of this shape, if you like, and back into supported Shavasana. You can choose to stay in Balasana if you like, or you can come down into supported Shavasana. Legs over your bolster. Laying down, pull the blanket up over you, pop your eye pillow on. The breath becomes steady once again. Feel that beautiful support below you, the beautiful earth below you. Feel your feet relaxed, legs relaxed, buttocks, pelvic bowl relaxed. The muscles of the back relaxed. Feel your hands and arms relaxed. Feel your shoulders and neck relaxed. Back of the head, top of the head, the forehead. Your eyes, nose, ears, cheeks, lips, chin, entire head and face relaxed, the chest relaxed, torso relaxed, the whole body relaxed and cared for. Feel your body breathing. Feeling into the center of your heart. Making a resolve for today to view yourself through the eyes of the heart. Let go of harsh judgment. View others through the eyes of the heart, and view the world through the eyes of the heart. Feel the energy moving in the body. How does the body feel?